Maybe we can get in, so we'll get started. Let's see. Citizens, petitions, comments, and concerns. Good. Approval of minutes. June 15th. We get a motion to approve the minutes. Oh, there was.
Can I do that? Because I wasn't.
So move.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Second.
Greg seconded.
There you go.
Is that good enough?
That's good enough. All those in favor? Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain?
Abstain. My first abstention.
Okay.
I mean, I should probably abstain too, because Deb was here and I wasn't.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it right.
Okay.
You want to get technical?
Okay. We'll jump right into reports. Livonia.
Okay. LTA required boundary walks in the town. Town of Groton are pretty much completed. Some people have been working on eradicating Japanese knotweed according to this 3 times a year business. And so they're still at that. Last month I reported that we had not yet received, but there is a survey in existence that cuts out the fire road from Antonino Road into that, but that survey has not been filed in the town of Groton land records yet.
Yeah.
So let's see. The big thing, I think, is the culvert over on 215 that somehow we escaped a meeting notice, so we went a bit, we were there for some of the meetings, and I don't know where those meeting notices are going in the organization, but
Is this in by Tom's End?
no, it's the culvert over by between
Anderson
the
Marsh.
Cove and Anderson Marsh
Oh,
that they're going to be replacing next year.
oh,
So I was hoping for an open space would speak a little bit more to that. One of the things that's outside of Groton that's going on in Avalonia is that LTA wants their organizations to use a piece of software called Landscape. So there's been some training on Landscape when they do their boundary walks.
listening. Sorry, I just saw that.
The technology come along.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm in favor.
I heard that.
Maybe that.
We heard it. It showed up in that comment.
Take your phone and load it up and walk the boundaries and record all the stuff. Goes right into the song. Dancy, dancy.
They record every pin and drill hole we see.
I don't know if they take those out anymore. They want the boundaries. Maybe. We can put it up.
That would supposed to find that.
Yeah. I'm not sure they do that on every boundary walk anymore. I don't think it's really necessary as long as you don't see anything.
Hey, Matt, can you hear us? Don't mute. Matt, can you hear us?
I'm sorry, yes, I can.
Is he muted?
Not now.
No. Good afternoon, everybody.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, he's personally muted.
No, he isn't, because it's not showing up.
I am not mute.
He started the video, but not the.
Well, you have mute, the little microphone on the left. Maybe you're supposed to be mute with.
So we're
I'm
unmuted.
not
I think
muted.
he's muted on his end.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be that little
It should be crossed off if he's off of you, right?
Yeah, it's not mute. I just wanted, is there a bottom?
And this is on and it's picking us up.
I hear you clearly.
See.
Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Pat, can you hear us? Yeah, we can't hear you though.
That may be good.
Yeah. We hear you clearly. Okay, yeah, but we can't hear you. Is it a different? This is an anchor, so should we try that?
Hello?
All right, Matt, try again.
Okay.
No,
is that
saying
any better?
something.
Oh,
I'm saying-
yeah, we can hear him. We can hear him.
Good, yay. Thank God for technology. Good afternoon, everybody.
There we go. All right. There we go.
So they went in the back room, checked.
All right.
Done.
Oh, you're done? Okay,
Did we get it all? I'll send it to you, but an email.
yeah, if you would send it to me, that'd be good.
I don't know, but.
Okay, and I did say notes. But it's hard to run the meeting and take notes.
The last thing I was talking about is this landscape software
Oh,
that
right,
they've been
that's good.
introducing. Use.
Top property, just to let everybody know, there's a luminaria walk, Saturday, October 7th, 7 to 9. It's a fundraiser for the Groton Arts Foundation. It's the second year that they.
I am planning it this
Well,
year.
there's
There's a
reason
reason,
enough.
and we're moving the group to the front, as opposed to the woods. Much more
okay.
prominent,
The music.
Oh, nice.
much more prominent.
Okay.
Like a haunted trail or something?
No, it's, well, the theme this year is
Woodland creatures.
woodland creature.
So it's gonna be little, you call those things lanterns, bees, all luminaries along the path.
It was great last year.
Yes. Last year was the first year, so this is the second year, and they had a good turnout last year.
It was fun.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes, yeah, so the theme's changing a little bit, just.
Who's making the women?
Oh, so a variety of folks, some of the classes here made little lanterns, some volunteers made lanterns.
It's not necessarily creatures.
No, but Mary Jo wanted it geared towards like animals, so they pretty much have something that's specific of an animal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And the rain date for that is October.
Okay.
Mentioned earlier, it's a fundraiser for the Groton Arts Foundation. Groton Arts Foundation supports Groton Arts event. Groton Arts Foundation. A lot of different projects. Here, everybody doing Groton Arts Foundation. Us.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, yeah. And they were heavily involved in the Terrace Playground project. And then they were also,
They funneled
I was gonna say
money.
with roof, with,
Groton Conservation Advocates money was funneled
yes,
to pay for the
for roof,
look.
yes, yep. Holly, did you want to talk about the rail trail? No. So, this is Tony Stan.
Hi, everyone.
She's a program supervisor here at Thrive. And it's her initiative. She reached out to me and said, hey, Mark, really think we ought to do this. Where we might start, and he has kind of taken over and is here just to talk a little bit, to share with all of you where we are. It's got started, and then we
Yep.
hit, it's been
Yeah.
start and stop. She's gonna, sorry, I'll show
I'm
you.
not,
I'll show you.
Mark is awesome, he's really supportive of this, I love it, he's excited. So, yeah, no, it got started, and then the group called Global Consortia. It used to be an app through Microsoft, or iOS, I should say, and Microsoft decided all of a sudden, we're done with this, the license ran out, blah, 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 and kind of just let it go out into my terms, because I am not computer savvy, but went out into the air. So they're like, oh no, there's our app that we use for trails, visual impairments, just floating out there now. So people from Ireland, the United States, Germany, basically global, all got together and said, what can we do to make this happen again? How can we fix this? So they created a brand new app. I have heard of it. Yes. They created a brand new app, and they're calling it Sound Community Virtual Navigation App. It is available right now. So if anybody wanted to go onto their phones tonight and load the app, it's free, just to see what it's all about. Right now it's geared towards like cities and towns and stuff. So like you can turn it on and be like, I want to go to Burger King. And it's going to get you to Burger King safely by following on your phone map and follow on your phone to get you to Burger King and all the stops and everything like that. But they worked with Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And so anyways, it's near completion. Well, it is complete. But now what they're going to do is they're going to beta test it, and they're going to beta test with us for one of their sites. So Southeast Connecticut Community Center Blind wants to be involved. So when we beta test, they want to bring it over to us to see how it works. Just real short, and I don't need a lot of time. How this app is going to work, so I don't know how much Mark's explained to you guys. How it's going to work is that you're going to have it on your phone, and you're going to be trained if you're visually impaired to use it. So you might go to the Groton field. You might have it there, so the training. And you're there with the app, and it's going to ping, and it's going to give you certain vibrations that you, as being visually impaired, hear. You'll know when the terrain and stuff is changing. Originally, when Mark and I had talked, we thought about doing just old-fashioned rail, having ropes all along a trail. We had put a copy together. It's a nice little, the same one for the luminary walk. That little, we figured we'd start with that. But then Mark went to a conference and he hooked up with this gentleman named Russ Meyer, and he was doing another part of the United States. With another parks and Rec department, for some of their trails, and the recreation director there said that it's just magic. That there's a video. I'll have to Mark has it, but we should send it to you guys. You should watch these kids who are visually impaired having the app, being able to navigate a trail. It is so awesome. So sorry, I need to get off. So yeah, so beta testing, I wrote a letter of support to the National Science Foundation, because Global Consortia is working on grants to, invest in them. I don't know, does anybody have any questions? I have papers here that I kind of like laid everything out on, just to kind of.
Do they have levels of difficulty? I could see caught property
Right,
working
so,
because you've got a good road,
Right,
but how does it handle more rustic
right,
trail?
yeah, that's a great question, and I don't know.
so actually, and it's in here, there's gonna be a Zoom that Mark and I are invited to, and it's gonna talk about the updated app, and it's gonna talk about our folks who will be using this app and the challenges and what would be, how to make it be successful. I know one of the questions Mark and I asked way back with the older app was that question, like, what about if all of a sudden you map this out and then the trail changes? Like all of a sudden there's a big old tree that falls down, and somebody who's visually impaired has this app where you've already mapped out the trail, and there's no tree there in your app, but now there is a tree, so how does that work? And I think his answer to us was that basically like, we might have to have a group of volunteers who are willing to, after a storm, go out and walk a specific trail to make sure that if a tree fell down, or if it was really icy, or it became a little mud pit, that, okay, this trail may not be safe today for someone who's visually impaired, we have some kind of signage we put out front, and I know, with some braille on it, that way someone who, and then Russ said that with the app, if the trail wasn't gonna be available for that day, we could go in there and alter the app to turn off that specific trail if it was dangerous. And that way folks who are like, you know, I'm gonna go hiking today, they go in there, put the trail in, it's like, nope, danger, the trail's not available.
When does the beta testing start?
So that's a good question. After our Zoom, we should know. Yeah. And so, Global Consortia, they're gonna, so basically we would be hiring them to, and we would pick the specific trail that we wanted to use. So whatever ones we thought were, coolest or best, and they'll go through and they remap everything out electronically through this app. So I know, it's really weird, it's kind of like, that's a lot, but I forward that video to you. Video of the, because it's really cool, and can I just share one more thing before I go? That's, I need to go, but,
No.
actually, the reason this all got started is because I love to hike, I love trails, and I was in my class one day, Discover Connections Center, I work with folks who have cognitive impairment, visual impairment, they're at risk for social isolation, this inclusion program. And I was talking about how I was hiking, I had this woman in my class said, you do? Why? What's up? Why can't you hike? Because my vision is so bad. And that's this in the woods and hiking is such a wonderful thing, and it's just, I love it. And I was like, that shouldn't be. So I said to her, you know what? This is an honor of you. I'm going to reach out to Mark. I'm going to research this. We're going to figure this out, and we're going to get a trail that you will be able to go on. So that's how all this got started. Just a little side story.
There was a brochure on I received the other day, and instead of the word disabilities, they're using for all persons traits.
Oh, I like that.
APT. And they're developing these trails around their facilities.
Right.
Yeah. So for everybody, no matter if they're in a wheelchair or.
And that's something, yeah, and that's something Mark and I were talking about, was that it doesn't have to be just for folks who are visually impaired. It could be an inclusive trail that is for someone who has a walker or someone that has a wheelchair, that can make everybody with all abilities be able to use it. Absolutely. And there is no, and just to let you know, I know at the top it says rail trail / blah, blah. There is no set name for this or anything like that yet. This is all kind of in the working process. Like, so if anybody, if you guys have any cool names or something, let us know, but it's gonna be a great project. Hopefully you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Mark.
It's a lot of work, don't it?
You probably need someone.
But it's worth it.
Perfect person. All right, so that was all that we had for the cop property. Crosstown Trail.
So
I know
where are we on with the money? I thought you guys got appropriated for the
we did.
signage. Yeah, have you received that funds yet? Because from the Tri-Town Trail Force, we have not got our stuff.
Oh,
Because we were supposed to kind of like coordinate.
So we
that.
haven't gotten anything.
yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
apply for our
So-
money?
No, but we're part of the cross.
Did all of our party, is that?
None of it's been, I believe that none of it's been distributed yet. They're still
Yeah.
working their way through how they're gonna do it, the forms, the reporting, there's a fair amount of reporting that's going. I know they're close, respect.
Because the thing that we had on the agenda here, a year ago, we applied for all the funding.
Yes,
So
yeah.
jointly between the two greenways.
Right, right.
And kind of coordinate the branding and you.
Yeah. And
all
I,
that stuff.
right up front, I haven't done anything with that because at the Lake and Pedestrian Master Plan,
Right.
Recreation Master Plan, just, there's been a few other other things.
Right, yeah, but you haven't received the money, that's not.
No, no.
If you have the money, you can't do anything.
Right,
Okay, but then it's to hire a consultant. Do the branding.
yeah, that was
sort of
part
thing,
of it,
and mapping,
right,
and-
right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Rosa, Avalonia, and Groton Parks. Universal symbol, or a symbol that crossed all three organizations, but was also, you know, recognizable, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a public place. That was proposal, and that is. Exactly. It's getting very close to the top. There's a lot of these other projects.
Well, it's good that we it's kicked down because of money.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I mean, I know they're still working on it. I know they sent out forms, they got things back. They
Okay,
did.
Kevin is.
Kevin's been working away on it. There's way more reporting than I originally thought.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
reporting, yeah. A lot of people had to put together actions like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
Groton
money's
Beach.
back.
Well, Kevin and then each organization. Yeah.
Groton Open Space.
Let's see, we're gonna buy a property. Maybe everybody here knows that, Center Groton Preserve. And it's 89 acres. We'll connect Avery Farm with Kenilwood Ridge. So it'll create a complete loop. There's an existing trail there already, but we'll need to make some improvements. And after we do a survey, make sure it's in the lines. And you were talking about Crosstown Trail. Joseph was hosting a crosstown hike. Have they had it already? That wasn't involved.
That was part of what.
Oh, the October,
Yeah,
okay,
yes.
but I thought it was
Yeah, well, October is now expanded into
into
September.
September, right, okay. Yeah, and then Tom and I and our Dan O'Connell met with Don Yazzie.
Don Bassett,
Bassie
right.
from Park Foundation, and we toured the Park Lake property
Yes.
to discuss what would be good uses and
Right.
trails. And it's a beautiful property. And we figured it just needed to open up to the views and birding and
Right.
maybe right out of the parking lot, a little chute that goes straight to the shore for kayaks to unload from the boats. Plus, you know, it might be a nice idea to have a birding deck or, you know, a hide or something to look out on the marsh. I think that's the highlight.
Yeah.
And then there's the freshwater thing too. So it's actually, and it has some very nice natural features and wetlands. You just need to do a little work on the invasives.
Yeah.
But we did notice the sign is not prominent. Shrubbery is blocking the view, and especially if you're coming from this part of town going towards the city,
Right.
you actually, by the time you see the sign, you're driving past the driveway. Because you have to kind of look back at it.
Dan sent me a list of all the records.
Okay.
Offered up some volunteers. But you in charge. A lot of this.
He's probably put us.
Probably us first, but
So, and I did say that we put, the grass ever stops growing. You know,
right. you
between
get
all
to
the
it.
rain and the sun, grass is just.
Yeah,
it's
we're
crazy.
still mowing.
Yeah, that it would be later this fall that get together with park staff. What exactly?
And I think at least from the conservation commission, there needs to be a sign on that property and the other ones that have had state grants, the also grant. Supposed to be an acknowledgement on the signs that it was funded with those funds. And if you apply for a new grant, they want you to show photos of your sign showing credit going to
Yes,
the.
I know, I gotta
Do you
meet
feel-
Tom. The
Okay,
day after the hike, saying, hey. you
hey,
need
where's your, yeah,
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 yeah. Yeah.
so, and so that would, you'll need that for Wolf Road, you'll need that for Boulder Heights, all of those ones that were
Yeah.
paid for with state funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colnask, the one at Colnaski, the Sassacus,
There's
No,
there's no sign
no.
of Boulder yet.
no, and that, it still needs boulders moved, and, you know, the entrances that needs work, right?
They did do some improvements on it as far as the pavement area.
Right,
Parking
that's,
there.
that
That
was,
was,
put in parking.
yeah.
Relative to the Thomas Road, thus, that you were just talking about, I use that road frequently. Has there ever been any consideration to making that parking lot more visible from Thomas Road? So that when people go in there and go to the left towards the water, you don't know anybody's in there. And, you know, one of the things that I've advocated over the years is not to have hidden parking lots.
Good for drinking and partying and.
Yeah.
If that roadside could be trimmed more, maybe,
Right.
just take it down,
Right.
cut it down. Open out the view to the parking
Yeah,
lot, I
like
think
the
it would be
signs.
safer, I don't know if more people would use it or not, because right now, you don't know who's in there.
Yeah, and you're maybe not even aware it's parked.
Yeah, it's sort of hidden away in there, not that you need. I was hoping that, since Groton Open Space had been to the COVID meeting with DEP, that
Oh,
you
yeah.
could speak
Yeah,
to that a little
we-
bit
We
more.
attended that one, they're going to place culvert that drains the Anderson Marsh. They used to have a plan with a water pipe coming along the Avalon property, but that's no longer. And at this particular meeting, they didn't, because their side of the street. But on our side, we had a big discussion on, please don't cut these trees. Limb up a branch and maybe use ropes to pull it out of the way, because they're going to temporarily move the poles over. And then the street's going to be widened, so it has a bike path or a shoulder on the side. So you park there instead of right now, we go up, dump the sidewalk, park up above, but now we'd be able to park on the street.
Yeah, the reason behind that is that because the town council put the street policy in place, right, kind of improvements here. You have to they're within the constraints of the right of way that the state has there. They are able to make it a full complete street for that section that they're redoing. Admittedly, it'll only be a couple hundred feet,
Right.
but they're willing to go do that.
It's a step, yeah, it doesn't, there's like a block before you get to the top of street going into Moang.
Yeah.
Then it's okay, 250 and it's got a good shoulder beyond that.
Right.
You know, but that narrows the gap a little bit.
Sure.
And
The whole culvert will be replaced.
the whole cup big
From
one,
the close
and
to
yeah,
the
and they're going to, they're just gonna do work on the seawall and also sorts of stuff. So we're going to move as much of our pollinator garden out of the way, because equipment going through and tramping around.
When is this all supposed
I think it's supposed to be fall, but I don't know if it's later than fall, remember?
2004.
24, maybe. Maybe.
That's the earliest
Right.
start.
Yeah. But, you know, we're on notice to start moving stuff. And then there's another culvert that's drain, the storm drain. It's down just,
That's what's.
it's closer to the pine tree, the cedar trees there. And the end of the pollinator garden, the long.
Was it a
pollinator.
warren?
It goes from the street into the water. So they're going to improve that, and the seawall around it had been crumbling.
Is that John Watson?
Well, it's on the coast.
It's on the
It's on the
Goshen
Goshen
property, but John Watson was very adamant about saying they didn't fix it right before and it fell and blah, 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 and so, you know. They promised they're gonna make that better.
Can I interject a historical note here? I went back in my files. Back in 2004, wrote a letter to TOT identifying to them the fact that the top of the culvert had collapsed near the Anderson Marsh, and could some repairs be made? And I thought, 2004.
They're just getting around to it now.
Well, I think what they did a temporary fix in response to that. And now
No,
this is gonna
it's
be a
still
full
a hole in
replacement.
there.
Yeah, well, they're doing a full replacement. So
Yeah.
Did they put a pipe through it or something?
we got on their list.
Yeah,
They've got on
yeah,
the
they
list.
finally got there, right?
So never be discouraged about how long it
Probably
takes.
they are, but-
Patience. 20 years.
Okay,
Just a
I-
note of historical interest.
I think that's it for Ghost Area.
Town trails. We put an RFQ out for the bike and pedestrian master plan. We got one response back. So we are rewriting the RFQ. Sending that out. The one company that did. Team that work,
Great.
not that great.
Just to replace the Ken Frost one.
Yes.
Years ago.
Yes, yep, yep. So. Going through the process of rewriting that. Changing some of the deliverables. Taking out some things that.
Some things don't make sense.
Yeah, don't make
They drew a
sense.
line on a map through the woods and it's
Yeah.
like a wet
Yeah,
area or
yeah,
something.
so that. We probably won't get started on that. How to do this. They'll be able to do this one. They'll be able to do something. Starting next year.
That's Spicer House. Said Spicer.
No, this is the bike and pedestrian master plan.
Okay. Thank you.
And I also. Well, I guess it is. Over the last year, we've been working with Barry Dunn Consultants, Recreation Master Plan. There's a draft. Sent to me today. We're going to the council Tuesday night. Barry Dunn will be doing a presentation for the 221-page document.
Goody.
Yeah, well, yeah. Lisa said she was overnighting.
Everything's
Because it
good.
was so, it was. So there'll be, like I said, on Tuesday night, there'll be a presentation to the council. There will be a public presentation on October 2nd. Next. And it will be posted on Greater Groton. Will also be available. I don't think it's up yet. Posted. Share that with everybody. I think you all remember we got a grant for the east-west connector, so that was work along Depot Road, South Road. Back in June, got paperwork from the state. I think maybe at the June meeting I mentioned. They had everything messed up. Keith Hendricks is the town manager. They had the right address, but they had the city of Groton, and
Didn't know the difference.
apparently the state doesn't.
It usually happens.
Yeah.
Usually goes to
and-
Keith.
Yeah, and so we've been working with VHB, they're the consultants that are working with DOT to assist us in the process. And I sent it back to VHB and I said, look, you gotta straighten this out. That was back in June, and I still haven't got the packet from the state, so it's taken that long. Guess they're still trying to figure out who they're. It's,
Went to the bottom of their pile.
I guess. So, anyway, that has not moved forward at all. What happened?
That's the one that was putting the bike lane along South Street.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately, there's no update. Still waiting for the state. Yes. figure out who the town.
And so you're getting money, or you're getting a plan, or?
Well, we're getting $900,000, and the council agreed to match, I think it was an 80-20, and we were putting
With 20 in.
230,000, something like that. And so that will be paid for design and construction. Yeah. So that's it for town trails. Right now?
I just emailed you what I know the staters.
Oh, thank
Just
you.
let you know. This involves fees report. But the Tri-Town Trail has 4 events coming up here supporting the trail. Hiking to the Spicer Ruins. This coming Saturday, the 23rd. That's through the Groton Public Libraries. They have a rain date of the 24th. Then we have the Tri-Town Trail event here on the 1st up at the Preston Community Park. We have a little handout that each one here. That'll be on the 1st. And that's also in coordination with our Walktober contribution to Preston. Then working with the Ledger libraries, will be having 3 sessions on the hike and stuff in regard to woodland photography focus, but on the Tri-Town Trail. That'll be on Saturday, October 14th. And then on the and then working with the Preston Library, we'll be doing a presentation up at their library on October 19th, regarding the Spicer Camp. That's on our trail. Yeah. As far as the trail itself, we're still working on things up at the north end right now. Town of Ledger has $170,000 trail development grant. Hired Ken Frost with alternatives to get from the current end of the Bill Clark Farm over to those additional letters to going out to private entities, parcel holders. Those the first round of those.
Seeking easements.
Seeking easements, right? So that will determine who's willing and which way to go. There's 3 alternatives. And the rest will be working with, continuing to work with Groton.
Don't think there's any unfinished business. New business. We are entering the CIP season. Just coordinating task force has rail related projects.
A long-term one might be coming from the end of Merlin Court, which is probably Green Drive. It's by Groton Plains Park,
Yes.
that side of the street. If you had a bridge going across Fort Hill Brook, you might be able to go through town property on the other side of the brook, and that abuts Bosa's sheep farm south. Or sheep farm, one of the 2, but it abuts Bosa property. So if you wanted to work on a trail, number 1, you need a bridge, and I think you may need some bog bridges too.
Oh, okay.
So
That was Merlin Court.
Merlin Court, yeah.
Merrill.
Oh, Merrill, oh, sorry,
Oh,
Merrill Court.
At the
Merrill
very
Court.
end of Merrill Court, where it reaches Ring Drive, the town has a right of way all the way to the brook. And then the town owns the part, there's about 5 acres of the part that the town owns on the opposite side, on the east side of the brook, opposite that.
Yeah.
And then if you go north on that, that abuts the goes sheep farm south.
Yeah, it is sheep farm. Yeah, Bruce was in.
So
There's a lot of advantage in there, but it would provide connectivity
Yeah.
in not having to walk on to the
And it would complement the schools for their cross-country. Yeah, you've got the Grasso, you've got the middle school and the high school.
Is the
Safely
bridge
crossed, we've done-
similar?
I don't think we need the bridge that you built at,
that's not-
That's like a $60,000.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting.
I think a bridge similar to what Ghost has installed at the sheep farm for an adequate flow of traffic.
We don't need to drive cars across.
Well, the CIPs are $25,000.
Oh.
So, well, if you're paying for union labor, you'll be there. Yeah.
Okay.
So looking at a map, where am
You're,
Gotta be-
if you're
Right.
at, if you were, the entrance to Grasso Tech
Yeah.
stuff.
I? Okay, Grasso Tech.
If you're in there, you take, instead of going up Grasso, you turn there onto Ring Drive. You go up
Right, if-
about probably about 800 feet. Well, more like 1,000, 1,200 feet up the road there, and you go left into the grassy area there between some houses. You just go into there, all town.
Being right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going from Grasso straight across the. Drive up, what, 1,000 feet
Yeah,
on the
that's-
right, Merrill Court comes in from the left, and then it's like a dirt road on the right.
Some reason or other, I thought you were trying to connect lanes.
Well, this
Well,
is.
if you walk on the streets from the Connecticut Park
Yeah,
to
without
the
having to
center,
go out.
without having to go out Route 1 or. Yeah, you just walk through the neighborhood.
Cross past the gas station.
I figured you had a map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right here. Parks right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Merrill, right there.
POC.
Oh, yeah, this is all town.
I mean, I could say something about the community engagement.
I mean, you could probably go out to the Indian Field Road or something, or the park.
Smartphones. It's. Look at all this
Joel
green
will figure
space.
out.
There is a lot of green space, so,
Yeah,
It's all green.
it's not by accident. Takes a lot of work and time.
It takes a lot of years too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn it over to Dave quickly from planning. A little bit about the
So as many of you probably know, 2026 will be our next POCD. But we are working on the start of that right now. The first big piece of that is a community engagement. One of the things that have come out with the past POCD is that we're pretty confident that we didn't reach the entire community, and we want the community to have a bigger voice. So we'll be working with Horsley Wooden on basically an engagement piece to figure out which parts of the community we need to reach out to, which need a greater voice, so they can have some input into it. And then once that community engagement is done, sometime a little bit after that, that's actually when we'll start developing the RFP for the POCD to figure out what. That's where we're at right
And what's the timeline? I'm sorry.
now. So the community engagement piece, I think, is in the next few months, is to figure out, where are the different parts of the community that we need to reach out? Who are the contacts there that can get us in with those rest of the community groups and have those conversations, and just make sure that they're aware of the effort and that they're heard, and that they have a piece of the future of the POCD.
so what would your timeline to actually publish it?
For the POCD?
Yeah.
That I don't quite know yet, but we would have to obviously have it done. The existing one is 10-year plan, so it expires.
Well, they keep going, it started out like 2000 or whatever, and then it was 2012 or,
Well, it's gonna be
or
10 years.
It's every 10 years. Yeah.
right, but it's 10 plus more. They start the process with 10 years.
Well, no, I mean,
No,
the last POCD was 2006.
Oh, okay.
So we have until, like, the next one will be 2026.
That's right. Okay, I stand corrected. Did creep up.
Yeah.
And the state's also been much more aggressive.
Making sure
Yeah.
If you want to apply for any grant, you have to have current use.
All right. Anything else?
Well, this is a heads up, work for the Conservation Commission, heard all this to you, but, we've had, the Conservation Commission's had a separate, negotiations with the planning staff and the GIS people, where they're going to be adding a layer to the town GIS, for accessible properties, I think it's gonna be called, just so you're aware of that. As an easier way to identify which town properties that are that actually have like trails and that type of stuff. And this is again from the Conservation Commission, we provided we have an obligation to report to the town manager all the town property status as far as what's open space, what's managed, of course, with the POCD. But our view right now is that we're trying to also take a look at it from state definition of open space. Serve, and then we provided to you the updated recommendations for the Parks and Rec regulation. Don't know where that is, but based on that updated recommendations, we've provided a recommendation to the GIS people as far as which parcels within the town are really accessible for public use, as opposed to areas that don't have any trails on them or are just our sewer treatment stuff and make that separation. So it's a little bit easier to get access to it on a layer that
Yeah,
pick up on your
very done.
GIS. Yeah. I just wanted to point that one out. That's kind of related as far as the trail accessibility.
All right,
That's all.
Bruce, you wanna make a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Work's done already.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm gonna scoop in my next meeting.
You said it's been done.
Yeah, it's just a matter of.
Just put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.